Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about The Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 6. It's called Chapter 6, The Prisoner. So, full spoilers for the episode. As always, this episode features Mando sort of going back to an old buddy. I mean, maybe that term's a bit loose, but old sort of rough crew that used to run with. They've got a job for him to help, because he's a fourth man on the crew, to help spring a prisoner from a droid-controlled prisoner ship. But of course, there's some twists and turns as we go, and they betray him, and all sorts happens. So that is the gist of the episode. So, how did you feel about this one?
I was quite into it, especially the back half. The back half was kind of excellent. First half, yeah, it's fun enough. A lot of recognizable faces floating around.
Yeah, there was two actors here that were well, actually three. Now that I think about it, there's three that kind of stuck out to me. First one being the guy that he talks to first of all, the sort of boss, if you will. Yeah. That's Flass from Batman Begins. For anyone who didn't quite catch him, he's got a lot more hair and a lot more beard, but that's him.
Yeah.
And then very quickly, the demon-looking dude, I was like, that sounds like Clancy Brown. I couldn't quite see it in his face, but it sounded like Clancy Brown.
It is indeed.
And it is him.
A couple of others there as well.
Oh yeah, well we got the droid, who actually bugged me for a good 5 minutes because I recognised the voice and couldn't place it for a while. And
see, I watched something with him on less than a week ago.
And I don't know what sentence it was, but there was a sentence, once we were on the ship, somewhere it just clicked with one sentence that it was Richard Ayoade, and I was like, I immediately liked him more because it was Richard Ayoade.
That helps. Also, the woman playing the Twi'lek she was Tonks in Harry Potter. She was on Game of Thrones as the wildling with Bran. I've forgotten her name. Osha, maybe. That might be right. Yeah,
don't me.
I'm just looking at myself, questioning myself.
Who is Sash Ketter in this episode? That character, who is Sash?
Sash. I'm not sure why.
Because I was just looking at other names to see if there was anyone else that I didn't recognise under makeup or whatever. And Deborah Chow plays a character called Sash Ketter.
Oh, I know the answer to that. She's one of the 3 X-Wing pilots, because all 3 of those are directors from the show.
Ah, yes. Because when I looked up who she was, I didn't actually notice that she directed any of this, but I did notice she directed some of Mr. Robot. So
she directed, I think, episode 2 or 3 of this, and she's doing all of the Kenobi show.
Ah, very good, very good. Who are the other 2 directors then?
The first one was Dave Filoni, who's obviously did Clone Wars and Rebels and is involved in this. And the other is Rick Fukuyama. What is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, who directed this episode, actually.
Yeah. And then it was bugging me where I knew the sort of ginger bald guy from. Well, that sounds like that's a weird phrase because obviously he's bald, but ginger beard. Bill Burr, yeah. He was in Breaking Bad. I don't know where I knew him from, but he was in Breaking Bad.
Yeah. He's probably the most recognizable one out of all of them, and we've got to him last somehow. There's also another familiar face later in the episode in the control room. I don't know if you recognized him because there wasn't a lot of him. That is Matt Lantner. You will know him from Timeless. He was one of the main guys in Timeless. But also he was the voice of Anakin in the Clone Wars.
Oh, right, aye. I didn't even know whose name that was when you said it. I had to look at his face.
Yeah.
So, okay, a lot of faces in this one. No, that was not bad. It was definitely better than last week's episode. I will say that. Yeah. It might even be the best paced out of all the episodes up until this point.
Notably, it was slightly longer than the last couple.
It was slightly longer, yeah. I mean, admittedly, you have to take off like 4 minutes of credits because they're packed with credits, these episodes, but
this one was still close to 40 minutes.
Yeah, so that kind of stuck out. Action was pretty good. It had the kind of a suitable feeling of like I don't really think we can trust these people the entire time we're with them in the first half of the episode. So when the betrayal comes, it's not a surprise, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it's because it's a failure of what it's doing. It feels like there's kind of a foregone conclusion they'd probably betray him, and he was kind of prepared for it.
Especially as this is playing on those heist sort of Western tropes that this happens in those films, right? So those stories in general, that the betrayal is a big part of that. So I mean, it's not a surprise.
Do you know something? You're far too gleeful when we talk about Mandalorian. You know that there's a spring in your voice and a smirk to your face that you don't have in most other
So what it
shows.
is, I think it's not even that I'm enjoying it, because that's just nice. I enjoy a lot of shows that we cover.
Uh-huh.
I think it's the satisfaction that you are having to admit that there's a Star Wars thing that you're enjoying, to at least to some degree.
I mean, this episode was not bad. Look, I have been very objective throughout
To be
these
fair,
6
I
episodes.
think I've been relatively critical. Do you know what? I think the reason I'm quite peppy this time is because it was nice to have. I wasn't that hot on the last episode, was I?
That's true.
So this was kind of a nice bounce back.
Yes, no, it was a solid episode. I guess the only critique I'd have, kind of the show as a whole, outside of maybe some of the pacing things we've brought up before for the other episodes, is that there is kind of this random nature to these middle episodes where very little's kind of following on from the previous one. It's just kind of like, oh, he's getting a job from somewhere now.
Yeah, I saw someone actually compare this to just like a comic book series of like a Star Wars comic series of just hey, it's just each issue's its own kind of adventure, and I can kind of feel that.
Yeah, it's all right. I guess I'm just used to TV having more, like, even if it is doing standalone adventures, having a bit more of like at least a B through line that's kind of like connecting it to the overall.
I get that, and I think it feels particularly odd here, given that the first 3 we were like, okay, so this is just going to be an 8-hour movie, and then it just completely 180'd.
Yeah, which might actually be just the why it feels so wrong. It may just be like, no, this set us up for something that was so serialized and then immediately switched after the first 3 episodes. You have to imagine that the last episode, if not the last 2 episodes, because we've got 2 left, will return to the main plot. But I mean, we'll see.
Possibly. I mean, yeah, who knows?
Unless they're just leaving it open for season 2. But yeah, so basically what happens is he meets the rest of this crew, because he obviously knows the leader, but he doesn't know the rest of them, and they're introduced. They don't seem very trustworthy. Big devil guy's pretty angry. What's the blue alien race?
Blue alien.
Yeah, with the 2 sort of like tentacle, like ponytail things.
Twi'lek. Yeah.
Twi'lek.
Was she blue?
She looked blue to me.
Okay, my memory's just playing tricks on me.
Yeah, it's light blue. I mean, maybe if you're a bit colourblind, you might argue she's like a more of a green. That sort of aqua kind of like argument.
Fair enough. I mean, memory's just playing tricks on me. I'm not gonna fight.
I swore she was blue. Anyway, because you're right, because that race, isn't that race always blue?
No, the green, pink, blue, whatever.
Fair enough.
They're all sorts.
Because they always made me think of the opera singer from Fifth Element.
Okay.
So I just associate them with being blue. But yeah, so she's kind of flirty in a kind of dangerous way. Like she's been all seductive. But I mean, if you do let your guard down at night,
they do have a history.
Yes,
those 2.
Yes, they imply a history. But they go off on the ship, and they get to the thing. There's a little bit of a dangerous moment where they find Baby Yoda.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, what's going on here? And he has to kind of just play it off really cool and casual.
Yeah. Luckily, they're just getting to the prison ship, though, so it kind of interrupts them, and they go on board. And this episode had another moment that I think it needed as well, which is something that I'd been saying we needed in the first few episodes. And we did get it at the end, by the end of episode 3, was kind of like, okay, why are we rooting for this guy? And there's another example of that in this episode here, where there is one human kind of guard in the control room, and the others are basically intending on killing him. And Mando's trying to, like, no one needs to die here. If you just let us go do our thing, like, you don't have to die. And it turns into something more of a 3-way standoff, because obviously at first it's just a standoff between the guard and everyone else, and then Mando kind of becomes this third kind of pillar in the standoff against everyone. And he ends up dying because the Twi'lek kind of just throws a knife at him.
Also, just because I know we're going to get comments, I just checked. She's pink. So my memory wasn't going funny. I didn't want to say it because you were so insistent that it was blue and maybe green. I was like, my memory must be just playing tricks on me. But I've just checked, and she's definitely pink.
She's pink? Okay. I'm going to check this after, but fine.
It was bugging me. I thought I was like going crazy.
Fine, whatever. She's been
comments are already there, but I mean, whatever.
She's a bit a tanning place. She's naturally blue.
I'll buy it.
Uh, why she goes pink when she tans, I don't know. But like, anyway,
Alien species. They do what they want.
so so obviously there's a moment here after this guy's died and everyone else is like, oh shit, he still triggered that alarm. He does this little device that he's got, it's a little beacon, which is important for later because Mando uses it to kind of trick everyone at the end.
Yeah.
But they actually betray him. As soon as they get to the cell with the prisoner they're there for, it turns out to be the Twi'lek's brother, who apparently Mando himself kind of betrayed or left behind on whatever last mission he had with these people.
Yeah.
And they throw him in the cell, leave him there to rot. Of course, Mando very quickly, like grapples a droid over to the door and like rips his arm off through the hole in the door.
There was a second where I went, "This feels really easy to escape from," and then I was like, "To be fair, I assume they take all this fancy shit off the prisoners before they lock them up, usually."
Yeah. I imagine all the people in the cells don't have anything on them other than just a shirt and some,
I mean, they're prisoners, right?
Yeah. Certainly wouldn't have a grapple gun.
I would hope not. Otherwise, the New Republic really need to do better checks on their prisoners.
Yeah. So anyway, from there comes kind of a stalking episode where Mando gets control of the ship and starts like closing doors here or there, and kind of splits the group up so they're in two pairs. And then we get kind of like almost a slasher movie of them like kind of going after each one by one.
Oh, it is. There's the scene with one of them where the lights are just because it's all red, bathed in this red like emergency lighting, but it's occasionally flickering in and out, and you just see him getting closer every time it flickers bright.
Yeah,
it's kind of great.
It's proper horror movie or even proper Batman stuff in some ways. That particular
I can see
one.
that, yeah.
So yeah, that one was fun. There's kind of a joke where he's fighting the big devil guy and he sort of like shuts the big metal door on him that shuts down the way. And you're not sure if it's like squished him or like chopped his head off or something. But then he sort of like comes back into frame and he's so strong that he's holding it up and he's pushing it up. And then Mando presses another button and there's like a second layer of these doors that comes in horizontally and just goes.
I genuinely like flinched at that. Like I was like, oh god, that was vicious.
I don't say this often in this show because I don't think this show really needs it, but I will say this is one of the ones where I could have done with a little bit of gore. Just a little bit of a splat.
No, I get it. I think given the ending, they kind of explain why there wasn't. But, that would have been nice.
Yeah. Oh, obviously, yeah. I mean, it turns out later that he's not actually dead. He's just his horns have been...
a bit crumpled.
Yeah, cut off or whatever. Yeah, because we find out that he's not actually, because we assume he's killed everyone, and that's what the brother, who's the last one standing, the prisoner, assumes as well. But he's actually left them all alive in a cell, so they're still there, which means I expect we'll see them again in some capacity at some point.
Probably, and this really feels like Mando's racking up some enemies, right?
Yeah, got a list of enemies. He's got one or two allies, but mostly enemies. And it's worth mentioning as well the droid, although admittedly the droid is maybe the one who does die out of all the characters in the crew, because when he gets back on the ship, Mando does shoot him right through the chest.
Yeah, but I mean it's a droid and presumably be repaired if needed it to be.
But he did see the beacon. It depends where he put the droid though, because if he's still just lying there dead in the ship when he flies off at the end, then it doesn't really matter, I suppose. But
yeah, that's true.
If he dumped him off the ship before he left, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Because the droid, I think Zero was his designation.
Yes.
Zero something or other, is hunting Baby Yoda through the ship.
Yes, because he sees the transmission, the last transmission that Apollo Creed left him. I don't remember his character's name. You don't know that. No. Don't pretend you do.
I could have told you while I was watching the episode, but no.
That's how you get a stew going. That's one for Arrested Development fans. But he's hunting the Baby Yoda through the ship, and the Baby Yoda looks like when he's at gunpoint is about to use the Force to protect himself, but before he's about to do something, Mando shoots the droid to the chest.
An interesting theory on Baby Yoda this week that I thought was kind of neat. It's probably not, but it is kind of funny if true. Basically, the whole baby thing is just an act. It all comes from a line in Empire where I think it was Empire, where Yoda mentioned he'd been training Jedi for like 800 years, and obviously he had to be trained up before that, and he's roughly 900 at that point. So that means, okay, if this baby's supposed to be 50, that means it's got 50 years then to become at the complete maturity and a Jedi Master essentially. You're at the point where they're training.
So you're saying the final moment of the season is going to be him saying something as if he's been talking the whole time.
Possibly.
And Mando's going to be like, "What the?" And then cut to black. That's all you're saying.
it could.
Yeah,
they might just kind of be disregarding that line and just kind of playing fast and loose and whatever. And I'm okay with that if they are. It's fine. But if that is a thing, then that's interesting.
Yeah, maybe. We see that they've bonded again. Obviously, he brings the prisoner in because the prisoner's like, "Hey, that's your way. You took a job, so you have to take me in and get paid for it, right?" And he comes in with the ship back at the space station, gives him over, gets paid, no questions asked. That's the rules. And they wait till he leaves, and they're like, "Yeah, okay, kill him." And then they've got this big ship's launching up, and it's about to go out. But then they notice that the brother in his pocket, or whatever it is, has got the transponder that's alerting the authorities about the prison break, and some X-wings come zooming in and blow up the ship that was going to launch. Although notably, I don't think it's implying that those two die. Again, I think these two are surviving, much like the others that were in the cell.
Again, this is one I could take either way.
Because you kind of see them running away. The explosion does look kind of big, admittedly, but like you do see them running for it before they shoot the.
You do, yeah. So if they come back, then sure, I buy it. If not, I'm willing to accept that the explosion got them.
The question is like, are they going to show up in the finale because there's going to be some sort of big showdown and they're all hunting Mando, or is this just a seed because they're going to have an episode in season 2 and they've got just plans for more of this story on its own?
Honestly, I'm okay with either because again, they know they've got a season 2 coming. If this is a recurring thing, we'll bring them back next season. That's fine. But if it is part of a big Mando hunt in the last episode, that could be pretty fun.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a solid episode. Lots of decent action in the middle, especially. I think if you're a big Baby Yoda fan, though, you were probably disappointed with the amount of Baby Yoda in the last 2 episodes because he was kind of
possibly. I think this one's much better than the last one in that regard. I think the way Baby Yoda was hiding and just vanishing was kind of fun to watch.
So no, it was a fine episode 6. I don't have a whole lot of complaints about this one. Pretty straightforward, obviously, but built up the character. I mean, if I'm even searching for a nitpick, it's that Mando feels too capable in this episode compared to some of the recent episodes where he's a bit more of an idiot.
I get that. So I've seen some people really dislike this one. They think all the characters are outright annoying and they hate them all. I don't quite see that. They're not likable characters, right? I'm not like, oh, this guy's great, but they never annoyed me.
No, I mean, I think there was maybe a little bit in the introductory phase where it almost felt like I was being introduced to a line of cliches, and I felt like they were trying really hard to sell their roguishness. And
I'll give you that, yeah.
And it was a little bit rough at the start. Once it got going, though, and it actually was just focusing on what they were doing, I thought they were fine. But,
yeah, like when they were going through the ship to get to like the control room, for example, I thought they were, quite fine there.
Yeah. So no, not flawless by any means, but probably the best episodes of a TV show it's had.
Yeah, I think it's the most satisfying individual episode for sure.
Yeah, probably not the best. I mean, episode 3 is probably still the best episode, but this is the best episode as a TV show in terms of having a beginning, middle, and end, and feeling like a full story.
As an individual episode, yeah, 3 is the best part of the as part of a larger whole. 3 is definitely the best in that regard, but it fails as just a single episode for sure.
All right, well, there you go. That is The Prisoner. So let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments below. Like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the show, you can rate the audio podcast on applepodcast.com. I don't even know if it is .com. It's Apple Podcasts. It's Apple Podcast whatever your local variant is. But you can rate us on there, 5 stars. It helps us out a lot. People find us that way. You can also support us financially, of course, by going to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can do that over there for as little as $1 per month and get some bonuses for your trouble. But help keep all the the cats fed and the lights on and everything else.
Yep.
So There you go. That is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?